I am scared of being too much. Are you too? If yes, then this video is for you. I'm afraid that people might dislike and reject my true self. And honestly, like all of the advice on the internet, which says just ignore the others, just be yourself. It's like it never really helped me. It sounded good, it sounded valid, but it never changed anything. So I needed to come up with something by myself to cope with it, to deal with it. And in this video, I'm here to tell you what I found and what actually helped me to deal with this fear of being too much, with dealing of this fear of conflict. Why should you listen to me? It is because I used to be a depressed people pleaser. I had zero confidence, no real friends, and no girls into me. But today, everything is different. I have confidence and I am charismatic. I have the best friends I can imagine, and I enjoy beautiful relationships with girls. And let me tell you this transformation is not magical. You can achieve it too, and I'm here to help you with this. So stick with me, because in this video I'm gonna tell you what is the hidden cost of keeping peace and why it is slowly destroying you from the inside. So stick with me. So the fear of being too much is directly connected to conflict. It means like you don't want to show yourself too much. You don't want to like be as you would like to be, or you don't want to speak your needs or your truth because you're too afraid that when you do this, the other person will feel overwhelmed and will like push you back, because the person thinks like, whoa, this is too much what you're giving me. You are too much for me. This is too high energy, basically. And I came up with a concept. I call it the peacekeeper. Just imagine you have an internal garden. The garden represents your heart, your soul, your well-being, basically. And you have this beautiful garden, like with flowers, with trees and whatever. But the garden is being protected by the peacekeeper. And the peacekeeper is just like a guardian at the entrance of this garden. And he's so powerful that he blocks everything that wants to come into the garden to destroy it. He blocks like some strong wind, he blocks storms, he blocks fire, he blocks everything that could destroy or hurt your garden. But the point is, at the same time, he's so occupied and so afraid that something will happen to the garden, that at the same time he also protects the garden from rain and from sun and from things that would actually like nurture the garden and would actually help the garden to grow. And that is the metaphor for what people pleasers are doing. They have this internal garden, they have their internal well-being, but because you have the peacekeeper in your mind, you try to avoid any like conflict or disturbance in this peace, which looks like, as I said, being true to yourself and actually like expressing yourself, or speaking about something that bothers you and hurts you to the other person, which is like directly confronting the person and embracing conflict. Those things, because out of fear, are being pushed back by the peacekeeper. It means even though a conflict can lead to something better, a better friendship, a better relationship, the peacekeeper holds it all back because he's too afraid that something will happen to the garden. Let me tell you a story. I I remember I am in a I am in the train with some friends from school. And this was like the time when I I started to change. I realized my authentic self basically. I realized some part of me that was true, where I felt good in this energy, in this character. And I started to express this. And it looked like very enthusiastic, very high energy. Like I just used to be happy and joyful, and because I like this state, I just expressed it to the others. I wanted to like be joyful and make the others joyful as well. And while I was in this transition from people pleaser and insecure to more confident and more authentic, I remember this one day where we were in the train, and I was like loud, I was joyful, I was laughing, I was making jokes, just being happy, just enjoying the moment. And the friends with which I was in the train, at some point they were like looking at me and saying, "Bro, please be quiet. Don't be like that. I cannot cope with this. Like you're too much right now. Here are other people. This is cringe, whatever. And please just stop it." And I felt bad actually. I felt pretty bad because I finally found something in myself that felt true, that felt good to me. I did not feel like I was performing. I felt like I was actually like giving something from myself. I was living according to my heart. And of course, I don't want this conflict. I don't want them to reject me. So my peacekeeper, peacekeeper, he instantly saw it and saw, oh, there's some danger to the garden. There is some danger to the garden, which was them rejecting me. And he was like, okay. Stop being authentic. Stop living according to your heart because this is a danger to the garden. So I just shut the fuck up and I stopped. And guess what happened? I felt even worse. I felt even worse because even though like the rejection hurt, but it did not last long. Like it hurt for the day maybe. But my silence and me suppressing my heart basically, how I wanted to be, this loud and expressive self. The longer I suppressed it, the longer it hurt. And it was a sting, constant sting in the heart. Like I constantly knew like I'm hiding something. It is you know when you're holding back a laugh, like you try to squeeze that you don't burst out laughing. It is similar like that. You're holding this authentic self in and it wants to come out, it wants to be expressed, but you're holding it in and it hurts, you know, it hurts. And this is the point with the peacekeeper. The peacekeeper, he wants to hold the peace, but the peace he wants to protect actually leads to the garden to dry out because he isn't letting in the sun and rain as well. So maybe the garden is not damaged by some earthquakes or strong storms, but at the same time, the garden is not nurtured. At the same time, the garden has nothing to grow on. And by rain and by sun, I mean you being yourself, you being real to your heart, basically. Because this is something that nurtures your garden, it nurtures your internal self. You feel better with it by embracing yourself. And maybe you already realized it. Another word for everything I'm talking about is authenticity. Authenticity is living according to your heart. because your heart is giving you a direction. You have some personality traits, some values, something that you feel it is good. You want to express it. Like I wanted to express my energy. I wanted to be loud. I wanted to be expressive. I wanted when I was joyful and happy, I wanted to show it. I wanted other people to be happy as well. So you have something similar inside of you, something you want to express, and it does not have to be a personality trait. Maybe it can be a hobby or a certain way you talk. Maybe right now you are talking very loud, for example. You're like very loud, maybe a little bit aggressive even. But it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good. And maybe you're more the type of person who likes to speak slowly and calmly. And this is your way. This is what I mean by living according to your heart. Because there is no real right or wrong unless you feel it is right or wrong. Because other people can tell you, like, this is wrong what you're doing. I don't like that you talk like that, or I don't like that you behave like that. And yes, of course, I don't say be disrespectful or be weird around people. I say do and live like what feels right for you, what feels good for you. And I know this is very scary. Living authentically is very scary. But the point is here, by holding the peacekeeper in the power position, maybe the garden does not suffer from external forces, from external conflict, but it suffers from the inside. It suffers from internal problems. The garden needs to get something from the outside, sun and rain. If the garden does not get it, it rottens, it dries out from the inside, internal. So authenticity needs some external conflict. That is the big point I needed to understand, and you need to understand too. Authenticity needs external conflict. You can choose between being yourself, living according to your heart and expressing your true self, or you can like just stay where you are and suppress it and perform for others. The point is this: when you perform for others, when you suppress yourself, you limit or completely avoid external conflict. Nobody's coming to you and saying, "Oh, you're acting weird," or "I don't like your new personality," because you're performing for other people. You're performing for other people so that other people don't judge, don't reject, don't complain. So you don't have external conflict. You avoid external conflict at all cost without realizing that you're holding so much internal conflict in yourself. That is the big point. I was the same. I tried to ignore and avoid conflict at any cost. But I did not realize I had so much internal conflict with myself because I wanted to be this. In reality, my heart was shouting that I want to be this, but I was performing this, and so I had this clash. I had this internal conflict. So, how long are you willing to endure this internal conflict just to avoid the external conflict? Because, as I told you, to be real, to be authentic, you need some external conflict. It is necessary. It is necessary. A flower needs sun and rain to grow. Let me give you another analogy. You know, you have the tires at the car. When you drive with the car on pure ice and you have no friction at the tires, you will somehow drive forward because you are on ice and you're somehow like driving forward. But without the friction, you don't have the control in the tires. You cannot control the car. You cannot really drive. You are on the road, you are on the ice, and somehow you're moving forward. But because there is no friction, the tires need friction, so you have control. And the same is with authenticity. You need some friction, you need some external conflict. And honestly, I was so scared of this external conflict. Really, I was so scared. But if there is one thing I can tell you and I can promise you, embracing the external conflict in order to achieve inner peace and minimize the internal conflict was probably the best decision I ever made. Because suddenly, like, yeah, maybe some people look at you weird. Maybe some people are like, don't understand you. They cannot feel what you feel. They just don't get it. Let them be. There are those people. The point is that you have to get your heart, and you need to live according to your heart. You don't need to live according to other people's expectations. Let other people be other people. They have their own business. They have their own stuff going on. They have their own life. They have their own heart. You should look at your own heart and look what is inside it. Look what it wants to express. Because you have your own heart. You have to protect. You have your own garden. You have to nurture so it grows and grows and grows and becomes like something beautiful. I just want to encourage you to step more into expressing yourself. I want to encourage you to not always listen to the peacekeeper. The peacekeeper is good in some senses, but when he has the full control and he protects, like he pushes back everything that wants into the garden dies. And we don't want that the garden dies. We want the garden to grow and grow and grow and become a beautiful paradise. That is what we want.